Welcome to this course. Before I start saying anything about the course, I would just like to introduce myself very briefly and also say something about the course, because it's always very important to put things in context. So my name is Samuel Zalanga, and I'm originally from West Africa, Nigeria to be precise, but I've been in the United States now for close to 30 years. Now, what about the course? I want to welcome you to this course. It is a social welfare history course. So just be aware that whatever I'm going to say here is within the context of social welfare history. And social welfare history is part of the broad area, in this case, of social work major. And social work is a profession. It is also a discipline that involves theory and practice. And if you look at the competency and accreditation areas of social work, there are so many things that social workers are supposed to learn or they are supposed to talk about. Some of them can make you really feel very uncomfortable if you have not been used to hearing some difficult subjects discussed about the United States. So I want to put this in context that some of the material you are going to encounter in this course are going to challenge you, just as I have been challenged in many areas in my studies. But I encourage you to summon courage to really process the material, because if you look at the history of the United States, the country would not have been where it is now if there were no people who raised some critical questions at critical turning points in the history of the country. The other thing that I also want to say is a little bit about my teaching philosophy. Even when I was an undergraduate, I did not like professors who would like to impose ideas on students. So my desire always is for the professor to come and explain everything to the students and then allow the students to go back home so that they can reflect on it and then take their own position. Now, if they need some guidance, of course, the professor should be able to provide that guidance for them. But I do not like a situation where the students just memorize what a professor says or take something just because the professor said it without himself or herself processing it and then taking a position on it based on their own reasoning. Because if you take a position on something based on your own reasoning, it means even if somebody stops you on a highway and challenge you, you can really respond to it appropriately. You don't have to rely on your professor. So I hope that is clear. Now, I'm a sociologist by training, and to say a little bit, I did some international research comparing. When I wrote my doctoral dissertation, I compared Malaysia and Nigeria. I was looking at the relationship between the kind of leadership you have in a country and how they promote development. But subsequently, I have done teaching of over 15 years every spring semester in Guatemala, so I became very comfortable also with Latin America. In terms of my passion, I like reading quite a lot. I like buying books. I am just interested in ideas very much. I love writing. It's very easy for me. Sometimes when I am on the computer, I just want to write 3 lines or 4 lines. I end up writing 10. I also like reviewing documentary films. I like to learn about other people's lives in other countries. So I always like to watch documentary films. I am an immigrant in the United States, but because I have watched a lot of documentaries about the history of this country, there are times when I talk about some things that happen, it is as if I was an eyewitness about it, and I feel very passionate about it because I saw the footage of the event when it happened. I also like traveling. I like meeting new people from different cultures, from different backgrounds. Even if their opinions are different from mine, I think if there's a civil discourse, I will learn a lot from them. And I have actually learned a lot from people whose opinions are different from mine. And then I like courageous people, just reading or encountering them. What I mean by courageous people is when you study the history of the world, or even you study the history of the United States, you're going to find out that you will be very amazed that the country would not have been where it is today if it were not for the courage of certain people at a certain time. So I feel very inspired when I read about those kind of people, whatever their race, whatever their religion or national origin. So one of the things I hope to always do is to build bridges. Building bridges simply means I don't want to feel like the world is just revolving around me or around my culture, but I want to understand that because we have diversity, we need to build bridges across different divides. That's the way we can build a great country, and that's the way we can also build a better global community.